Okay, so we're just going to check, see if we do have 0. So see if these are x-intercepts. Let's see if these are x-intercepts. In other words, if I do synthetic division with these numbers, I should get 0 for remainder because it goes into it exactly. So remember what these are from. You know, if these are x-intercepts, the factors they've come from is x minus 4 and x plus 2. You can see that if you need to write the factors. But anyway, here we go. Let's try 4 in this. So here's the process again. 4. We have 1, -9, 6, and 56. Okay, and I'll bring that 1 down there. Okay, so 4 times 1 is 4. Add those two together, you get -5. 4 times -5 is -20. Add those two together, you get -14. 4 times -14 is -56. Yippee, this is an x-intercept, and that is a factor. Okay? Now remember what this means, though. This is this. X squared, because remember we started with an x cubed, so because I'm just dividing by, let's say, you know, a single x, synthetic division, x squared minus 5x minus 14. Now the thing about this is that, can you see that there? I'm not even going to bother checking to see if this -2 works, all right? See if -2 works as well, because watch this. Can you factor that? Yes, you can. X, what's that? X minus 7, x plus 2, okay? So in other words, 7 and -2 are the other x-intercepts, the other zeros, okay? So that was the only one that it didn't list, okay? But can you see that it would work? So I don't have to check them all, because this is what we do. We just check 1 with an x cubed and get down to the x squared, okay, as the answer, as long as there's no remainder. And then we can factor that, whether we do that or quadratic equation formula. So remember, with something like an x4th problem, you're going to have to do 2 synthetic divisions, because you always have to get down to the x squared, because then that will factor, and you can use the quadratic equation formula if you need to. So it depends how big the question is. Now, if we look at these, though, okay, this is looks very similar. Okay, it looks very similar. Supposing we try some numbers. Supposing we try to do synthetic division on this. Well, actually, these two, you have to recognize it, are actually already factorable. Okay, these can be factored, and we've talked about this the first couple of weeks of semester. It's factor by grouping. This one here, if you split it down the middle, okay, what can you factor out of the first two? You can factor an x squared, okay? What's left is an x minus 5, okay? Now, I tend to just always keep the middle sign, minus, because what you're actually factoring out of 9 and 45, think about it, a 9 can factor out, but you're actually factoring out a -9, okay? Because that will leave you with x minus 5 again. Again, this sign will change because I factored a negative out. So remember that one, okay? But look, this only works when these two are the same, because I can factor an x minus 5 out of these two things, and that leaves me with an x squared minus 9. Okay? This is the difference of squares, so I'll keep that x minus 5, and it will factor to x plus 3, x minus 3, all that factoring. So remember, factor by grouping for this, difference of squares, right here factoring, and there would be your final answer. So again, for this thing, 5 would be an x-intercept, -3 would be an x-intercept, +3 would be an x-intercept, and just as an additional thought, the y-intercept, if x's are 0, -5 times +3 is -15, times -3 is +45. Well, look, there it is. I don't know why I even bothered. That's a big daft after me. See, but can you see why it is +45, the x-intercept? Okay, so that's factor by grouping.